Hi, I'm Alana,
Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to A Pinch of English, A Dash of Morocco.
the official podcast of the American Language Center.
Today we're going to talk about food.
Yes, so we decided we recently recorded an episode talking about traveling through Morocco and America.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what about food? Totally caught you off guard. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was like, tell me about the food of that city. So then we decided to make a separate episode.
About food.
Yeah, because food's really important.
So we're going to share the American food and the Moroccan food.
Yeah, and I think it came from the travel episode.
Yes.
Just because when you travel, a lot of the pleasure, for me at least, and my family, comes from eating in new restaurants, and especially if you're traveling to a new place, trying the local food. So it goes directly into just culture and going to new places and food.
And discovering new dishes. I mean, also it's related a lot with the culture of the country itself.
Yeah. And of course, in Morocco, you have different foods for different regions, and the US too. And then, of course, there's a whole just national, everyone eats it. So for America, I started trying to go by region, and that didn't last very long. I couldn't do that for long. But I will start with, try to start a little regional. And the thing with America, it's like this melting pot. It has different cultures. So and it's so big, you do have different regions do have different food. And then you have immigration from Europe and other countries definitely influences, especially immigrant populations tend to go to go to one place. So you end up with Chinatown or Little Italy in a lot of the major cities in the US. So you will have different foods from different cultures from other countries in certain places. But it's also affected by the local food, like what's grown there or what's available there. So I started with the Northeast, New England, they call it. So this is Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. And Boston being the biggest city up there. And I was thinking lobster, because lobster is a big, it's, a crustacean. So it's not a fish, it's a walking fish, basically. And that's just a really common thing. If you go to Maine or Boston, you have to have lobster. For me, it's okay. It's not my favorite. It's super expensive, so it's not something I would go out of my way to eat. But definitely, I'm from Arizona. I went to school in Boston, so I definitely did have to try it a couple times up there. But my more favorite New England food is clam chowder. And clams are like oysters, and that they're shellfish. You get them by the beach, the rocks, and I'm pretty sure. And so it's this creamy soup. It's and they put clam in it. So it's like a fish soup, and it's creamy. Chowder is this soup that's creamy. And they could have chunks of potatoes in it. Probably some onions. I'm not sure exactly what goes in it, but it's really good on a cold day. And of course, that part of the US is very cold. So those are the two I really associate with Boston or the New England. And then also we have maple syrup, which is a sweet syrup that comes from trees. So it's natural. It's really popular right now. Instead of using sugar, people like to use maple syrup because they feel it's more natural and healthier than just sugar. And it's mostly from New Hampshire, I think Vermont, also Canada. Canada has the maple leaf as its flag. So it's important up there. And so that's kind of one of the foods that is famous, that is from there because it grows there. It's available there. And going from there, I was thinking of New York. And New York has, such just a lot of different immigrant communities. But the one thing that stood out for me is pizza. So, and of course, pizza originally is from Italy.
Yeah.
But New York style pizza, it's known to be very big. So you have these big slices of pizza, and they're thin. So they're a little crispy, but it's just a huge pizza. Like one piece is huge. You can fold it in half. And just normal pizza with mozzarella cheese and tomato sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have toppings or no toppings, just the cheese. So that was pizza for New York. And then Chicago has a different style of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what deep dish pizza. So it actually has to be cooked in like a pan with an edge. It's not just flat. And you have a lot of crust or a lot of bread at the bottom. And then it's just piled high with cheese and sauce and toppings like vegetables and meat. So that's what I could think of for Chicago. So the two pizzas are New York or Chicago.
They're different. Yeah. I mean, it's pizza, but it's different depending on
the city.
Yeah.
And there's just, you have pizza that's neither, just normal crust, but you have those two specifically. And then from there, I couldn't really do much in regions anymore.
Yeah.
But in the US, we have, for holidays, we often do a turkey. So,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for Thanksgiving. And, they're wild there. You can have wild turkeys. They live in the forest or the woods. And so they're, a lot bigger than a chicken. They can get pretty big. And so for our holidays, when we gather with family, it's normal to cook one big one, and it takes hours in the oven. You roast it in the oven. And so there's turkey, which is very normal. And then we usually eat that with stuffing. And stuffing, I love it. It's very unusual. It's made from bread. So you take kind of like dry bread and crumble it up. And then you also take things like celery and Durchschnittskrafts, and you cook that with butter with some onions. And then you take broth, which is kind of the liquid from cooking turkey or chicken with vegetables, and you get the water from that. And you put it on the bread and mix it with the butter and the celery and the onions. And you can also sometimes put sausage, or some people put green pepper, not spicy, and just a lot of spices like sage and salt and pepper. And then you bake it. So you can either bake it separately, or you can actually put it inside the turkey. And so when you cut open the turkey, when it's finished cooking, you have the stuffing inside.
Yeah, inside.
And it gets a lot of the flavor from the turkey. And it's really good. And to go with that, we also have mashed potatoes. So you just puree of potatoes.
Yeah.
But we make a sauce from the juice of the turkey. So when the turkey cooks, all the liquid comes out, and you collect that, and you add some flour, and you mix it together and add some spices, and that's a sauce. And it goes over the turkey, over the stuffing, and over the mashed potatoes. And it's called gravy.
Yeah. One time I was invited to Thanksgiving, and they served this, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different compared to how we do it, but it was delicious.
Yeah. I tried to make it once or twice a year.
Besides Thanksgiving?
No, with Thanksgiving, I don't always make it on Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving's always on a Thursday. And for Morocco, that's a school day. That's a work day.
Yeah.
So we don't always make it on Thanksgiving. It might be like the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And then sometime around Christmas, I think, to repeat it because it's a holiday meal. And it's still like my kids love it. It's kind of everyone loves it. Moroccans. It's a lot of food, so you can have leftovers. And the turkey can be reused. You could put the turkey in a sandwich for dinner or something. And then we also have something called cranberry sauce. And cranberries are a berry, and they're very sour. And they actually have to grow in the water. Like I've just driven past where they grow them, and it's not a normal farm because it's water, and they grow like bogs. A bog is like land that's covered in water, and they grow them in the water. And usually it's up here, again, in New England, where it's kind of cold. And then they take the berries and they add sugar and make a jam or a jelly out of it. And that's served with Thanksgiving food. So you can eat it with the turkey, you can eat it with the mashed potatoes, you can eat it with the stuffing. And that's just something very special. You don't find it in Morocco. And so I always have to bring it over. So that's just, for me, like the traditional holiday food is turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and gravy, and then with this cranberry sauce. Why don't we go into some Moroccan food? Because that's a lot of American food. So go ahead.
I also tried to go by region at first, and then I was like, okay, I'm stuck. So let's go like national. So I went to I took like Morocco in one entity. So we'll start with the most known Moroccan dish, which is couscous. So it's usually served with meat and veggies, and most of the Moroccan families prepare it on Fridays. And the most known one, it's couscous with 7 veggies. So you have it with like 7 different vegetables. And you can find it, for example, if someone visiting or something, it can be found in restaurant, cafes, like everywhere, because it's like a national dish. And then we have tagine.
Yes.
Definitely. So and actually tagine, it's like just to describe it, it's like a clay pot, cooking pot, where you can slow cook lamb, beef, veggies, chicken, and also it can be found in restaurants, cafe, everyone. I mean, it's prepared in everywhere. So that's about the tagine. And we also have tanjia. Tanjia is most known in Marrakech. But it's prepared also in different regions, but mainly it's known from Marrakech. So it's the same thing. It's close to a tagine. It's like also a clay cooking pot where you put like a chunk of meat and then spices, and you slow cook it. I think it takes overnight or something. So you just slow cook it, and then it's basically just meat. So the tanjia, there is no vegetables, nothing. So just meat. Where else? So we have also pastilla. We have pastilla. Yes. I mean, if you are like you like the sweet and the salty in the same time, so it's like a flaky pie served with chicken, sometimes with the seafood. Like there's seafood pastilla and also chicken pastilla. So that's also a must try. I mean, I like the chicken one. Because I don't eat seafood. So I am not really a fan of like seafood pastilla. There is it's a side dish. Zalouk.
I like Zalouk.
I like
Zalouk a lot.
It's a side dish usually served with bread. And I mean, the spread is made of eggplants, tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, and some spices. So it's really I mean, I if you're like fan of eggplants, you should try Zalouk. You should try Zalouk.
I love Zalouk.
And then we have also harira, which is Moroccan lentil soup. It's usually served as a starter, but also mainly used during Ramadan. So in the iftar table, you'll find the harira, just to like break fast and everything. So these are some of the examples.
The main, the big ones.
Also, we have sardines. I forgot, because Morocco is known by the fish. So we have sardines, and because I don't eat seafood, so I actually don't eat sardines too. I mean, they're beneficial, and it's also done in a very good way. And you have they're served with sharmoula and everything. But unfortunately, I don't eat it.
You can't eat it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, you can. Because in Morocco, you have sardines like a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it's done in different ways. I mean, it could be like sardines balls. It could be done like
like kind of you take one and the other. And
it's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
And then you have the sharmoula inside.
Yeah, those are
so good. It's done in different ways. But unfortunately, I don't eat any of.
It's too bad. It's really healthy. Yeah.
Yes, it does, and also it started to. I mean, I need vitamin D because I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are examples from the Moroccan food, and so these are the ones I thought of. So I didn't go by region, so I went like just national. General. Yeah, and also we have the Moroccan tea.
Oh yeah.
So the most known one, it's like tea with green tea with mint. And sugar if you want to add sugar or not.
Yeah, I found a lot of people are cutting back on the sugar. I find more and more people are asking for tea masseuse.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying that too.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I think because when I moved here like 15 years ago, it was always sweets.
Tea.
Yeah, always. But now a lot of people I find are having it with no sugar.
Yeah.
So
usually we serve like one with sugar and one without sugar. Okay. That's what we started to do like recently because people are starting to cut sugar or they're sick or something. So we serve both of versions.
Yeah, they're realizing. Making the choice. I could go for Americans.
Yes.
It's coffee's really big. So we started with Starbucks, it's just normal to have a travel coffee mug and have it in your car or just start the day with coffee. But for tea, we have people drink tea. I'd say coffee more. But we have iced tea. And iced tea is just cold tea.
Yeah.
And I think
I always don't know how it works, cold tea.
Well, you have to make it and then let it cool. And then you add ice cubes. Another thing about American drinks is we love ice cubes. We love ice. We love cold drinks. So you can brew your tea and, you can make the water hot, put the tea bags in. We usually have tea bags. And then you just let it cool down and add ice cubes. Same way we also have iced coffee. So you make your coffee, let it cool, add ice cubes, and usually we add some creamer or milk to our coffee. But we also have something that's iced tea, but it's called sun tea. And this is very southern, like, Florida, the South. And you just have like a big jar or a container and you put your water in and you put tea bags in. And it can be just plain black tea, or we often have like peach scented black tea and you put your tea bags in and you put it outside in the sun. So it has to be a place where it gets lots of sun, usually in the summer, of course. And so just the water, and you can leave it for a few hours and it makes the tea on its own. And this is for places where like it doesn't make your kitchen hot to cook it. So people really think about that in very hot places. So you could just leave it. And it's iced tea too. But again, it's sun tea because you've made it with the sun. So, and
interesting.
Then in the South, there's something called sweet tea, which is iced tea with a lot of sugar. I don't know the exact science of it. But I know people love like sweet tea. So from the South. So again, it's just iced tea with lots of sweet. Like sugar
in it.
And I don't know if that's made differently or you just add sugar to iced tea. So but again, like apart from like iced tea, you have coffee.
So mainly it's coffee.
Yeah, mainly.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's a lot of tea drinkers. So
if I ask you, like, you tried Moroccan food. So like what's your favorite?
Probably pastilla. I think seafood. I think I like both because I have a sweet tooth. I like sweet things. But I think the seafood's a little more. I think it has more going on. Like it's spicy. You add harissa.
Yes, harissa. Yes,
and it has the cheese. You add cheese. Like I think there's the lemon. And I like fish. So, and I love the crispiness of the outside.
Yes, that's what I like too. Yeah,
and the softer inside. So I think it's the seafood pastilla, but I do love the chicken too. Yeah. So
now for me, it's the chicken one.
Yeah. I love cinnamon too because you put cinnamon in the chicken one.
Yeah.
I'm not finished with American food.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm gonna add some pastries. Okay, but I just wanted you to finish. Yeah.
I was going to save dessert for the end.
Yeah,
too,
yes,
so
that's what I'm waiting for.
I just wanted to talk about like Mexican food because I've mentioned it before that like where I'm from, Arizona, it used to be part of Mexico, and a lot of the South used to be Mexico. Yeah. So we just naturally have Mexican food.
Yes.
And what's interesting is corn started in Mexico. So now you have corn all over the world, but it first was like grown in Mexico and used. So in Mexican food, you have corn tortillas, you have tamales made from corn. You have a lot of corn in Mexican food. And so Mexican food is tacos, but not like the French tacos.
Yeah, I like the Mexican ones. Yeah.
So usually those are never French fries. You know, it's not fast food in a wrap. Tacos have the tortilla, and they can be flour or corn, and they can be soft or hard. They can be crispy. Or soft.
The ones I tasted were crispy.
Crispy.
Yeah.
I prefer soft, but just. And then you have a meat. So it could be chicken, it can be beef, pork, or fish. You can have fish tacos too. And the better ones like have lettuce and a spicy sauce called pico de gallo, which is chopped up tomatoes and onions and like chilies and some spices and lemon juice. And it's nice and fresh, but it's spicy. So I think Morocco, you have an onion and tomato salad.
Yes.
So it's basically that, but a little spicier. And then cheese on top, and you can have guacamole, which is the spicy mix of avocado. Often put on sour cream on top, which is like creme fraiche. So it's like a kind of cream that's sour, not sweet, and it's really light. It just makes it just a nice mix. So we have tacos, burritos. Burritos, you have more beans and meat and cheese inside, and it's wrapped in a larger tortilla. And tamales are made from like a corn paste called masa, and you can stuff them with roasted green chilies that are spicy with cheese, or you can have meat or chicken, and those are wrapped up in the outside of a corn, like what we call the husk, like the green part that goes around the corn. You cook tamales inside that. So anyway, so I miss Mexican food. It's my favorite. I grew up with it. So again, that's really popular. And you'll find like in Texas, you might have different Mexican food than in Arizona and New Mexico and California, because of course Mexico itself has different types of food depending on the region.
Do you prepare Mexican food at home?
Not real Mexican food. We make burritos. So, and that's one of my kids' favorites. So I basically just use, and luckily, like in the last 10 years, they started getting tortillas here in the stores.
Yeah.
Because I cannot make them. I tried. I cannot make them. But buy tortillas. And then I just put everything on the table so my kids can prepare it, like decide what they want, because they all like different things. So I do rice, just white rice, some red beans with like Mexican spices. It's just generic. It's nothing authentic. And then shredded corn, shredded cheese, and then corn, and what else? Oh, salsa. You can buy like salsa. So like the Mexican basic sauce. And that's really it. And then sometimes I use the green pearly for my sour cream.
Oh, I also use it. It's really good base to prepare like a cream or something. Yeah.
So just put on top, and it's nice and creamy. And that's what I do. Fajitas are easy. The problem is if I try to make something authentic, it always calls for something that you can't find here.
Yeah.
So I've learned just not to try to do authentic and do what I can.
Yes. With the means you have here.
Yeah. So like usually Mexican food uses different kinds of beans that they don't have here. It's really hard to find here. So I just use what I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're happy with what I can make. But I love just when I go back, look for a nice, good Mexican food restaurant. And any other things I didn't? Oh, there's something they have in America called Meatloaf. And Meatloaf, it's with like kefta ground beef. And you, I believe, mix it with like breadcrumbs, and you can mix it with onions. And I think the sauce is made from ketchup. So it's basically like, so it's like ground beef or kefta that you've shaped into a loaf, like almost the shape of a bread. And you bake it. And then you can cut it in slices and eat it with sauce, or you could put on bread.
So that's a side dish, right?
No, it's a main dish. It's a main dish because it's meat, like, but just mixed with other stuff. And I think there's egg in it. So I think it maybe in the past, like if meat was expensive, people kind of add stuff to it to make it like more. And that's just really classic American. Now I've made it before, and the Moroccans who I served it to didn't really like it, so I didn't do it again. But maybe I'll try it again with my kids if they like it. But that's just so if you're watching an American movie or series, especially like in the past a little, you might see meatloaf. So again, it's just like ground beef kefta that's mixed with bread and egg and some like onion and spices. And then you cook it together, bake it, and then you can cut it into pieces. So yeah, what about Moroccan desserts?
I did add stuff from Ramadan. So we talked about this during the Ramadan episode, but I will say them again. We have, shibakia, of course. No Ramadan without shibakia, and briwat. If you want to do like, briwat, they're like a small version of pastilla, like they're a triangle, and it could be with salty or sweet, depending on which type you like. So it could be sometimes I do like chicken inside, sometimes I do just seafood, but not for me, for my parents and stuff. So it's like the small version of pastilla. It's the same. It also we use the same materials to make briwat. There is cablorzel. It's known a lot in like the north, especially Fas, Meknes. So it's like pastries. And it's like cablorzel mean horn of the gazelle. What else?
And that's with almond paste.
Inside. Yes. I used to like it when I didn't stop. Because I stopped eating sugar, so I stopped all the pastries, everything. I stopped everything. So shibakia, briwat, cablorzel. So these are the ones. It's really, and riba.
Riba? With the like kind of dry. I like them. Yes. With almond or walnuts.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So
I like those.
So those are really known in Morocco.
The main cookies.
Yeah. Like Moroccan cookies.
Okay.
Yeah. What about the U.S.?
The U.S. has so many desserts. Let's start with we'll start with donuts because that's because you have like beignets, like the French, and you have beignets like Moroccan, but I think American. I don't know if they're the first ones who started adding like icing on top. So we have Dunkin' Donuts as the main donut chain in the U.S. and it's come to Rabat at least.
Yes.
And so those, it's just very perfectly round donuts. And then often you can have jelly inside or sugar, or you can have icing on top. And often like the classic one with icing are for kids. So it's like pink icing on top and then sprinkles. So different, like a rainbow sprinkles on top. And then there's like a lot of different versions that, because now you have like gourmet donut shops that make like donuts based on the movie character or, you know, cartoon characters. So, or like more savory, like they really experiment with the flavor. But again, I think like beignets started more in France, but Americans have really kind of made it their own, like, you know, really made it a national dessert, if you would say. And then we have the stereotype of like police cops and donuts. So it's really part, you know, it's really
the culture.
It's part of American culture for food. And then we have pies. So a pie is like a tart, but it's deeper. So a tart, usually it's like you don't have a lot of fruit at the top. But a pie, it has a unsweetened dough at the bottom, like a crust. And then you put fruit, like cooked fruit with sweetened fruit. So it could be like cherry, strawberry, apple, and berries. And then you cover it again. So it's not too sweet because usually the like dough part isn't sweet. The bread part isn't sweet, but the fruit inside is sweet. And then we've turned that into like, then you have like cheesecake. Which again has like usually kind of a sweet bottom with like cream, solid cream. And then you have other types.
So the cheesecake is pure American?
I don't know. Okay. I wouldn't say that. But I mean, like the pies have different forms. Because then you have something like cheesecake, but it's called key lime pie, where it's like a custard, like it's lime and egg like made. And it goes on top of a crust, and it's lime flavored. And then we have lemon with the meringue on top, which is, I don't know if it's 100% American, but pies are really big.
Okay.
And then ice cream. So, so ice creams are really big. And in the US, usually you have a lot of stuff mixed in with the ice cream. So you could have like pretzel pieces and peanut butter cups, and you just have a lot mixed inside the ice cream. And then, I was going to say one. Oh, and to go off of ice cream, they have frozen yogurt. So it's like yogurt that's been made into ice cream. So it's supposed to be healthier than ice cream. Yeah, like less fat, less cream. And that usually comes out of the machine. So it's like soft serve, like softer ice cream. So you'll have places that only have frozen yogurt, and then you'll have places with only ice cream. But they're really similar. So lots of dessert, lots of junk food. And I mean, a big part in America is just, they say the portions are big, especially the drinks. Like if you get a soda, it would be like huge. So it's just famous for Americans being bigger and having bigger food portions. So
all right. I mean, as you said at the start of the episode, food does tell a lot about the culture of the country, and it does a lot to say about, I mean, the vibe. So I mean, it's related. It's related.
Oh yeah. I'd say in America, you're more used to eating alone and on the run. So like kids eat at school, people have breakfast in their car on the way to work. So it's a lot more, you're not just all eating as a family at home. You're kind of just like going out and buying your food alone and just eating it by yourself. And that's not everyone. That's not.
I mean, for Morocco, it's kind of the opposite. For example, couscous, it needs a group. You cannot eat couscous like by yourself. Same thing for tagine. Same thing for pastilla. So it's also about the family and the group and getting together to have that meal and enjoy that meal.
And then someone not working who can make it at home, someone who's home cooking for hours and hours.
Yes. For example, for our family, it's very hard to kind of prepare couscous every Friday. So sometimes we don't do it on Fridays. We do it on Sundays because we are all together. So we could eat it all together.
Yeah, it's changing.
Yes. Changing. Because it's especially those kind of dishes, you need to be all together to enjoy them.
Not
and
like a 3-person.
No, it's because it's usually served like in a huge quantity. So it needs a group to eat it.
Yeah.
So it's about the the family and because it's like an occasion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So everyone gets together to have that meal and be with the family and yeah. So for me, I think I talked about all the main Moroccan dishes. As I said, I took Morocco as an entity. I didn't go by regions because I didn't know a dish for every region. It was hard. So I said, okay, let's take it national. Yeah. And I presented like the main ones. And of course, if someone is visiting or there are foreigners coming to Morocco, they can find these dishes practically everywhere. Cafes, restaurant, roadside stops, everywhere.
Those are the main ones. So I think the US has a lot of different ones, but I think I gave some of the main ones.
We can't give everything. We can't.
So,
I didn't try every Moroccan food, to be honest with you.
I haven't tried all the American ones.
Yeah. So we gave like a
good overview.
Yes, an overview, exactly.
And I'm hungry now.
Yeah, we talked a lot about food.
Yeah, at least it's not Ramadan anymore.
So I guess, we're finished for this episode.
So thank you for listening. Enjoy whatever meal you have coming up next. And we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye.
Bye.